probably shouldn't be any surprise to anyone that the subject matter of my videos isn't always going to rub everyone the right way. There's nothing wrong with that. That is what opinions are for. That's what comments are for. And that's what the internet's all about. Except that on YouTube and social media in general, but YouTube really in particular, comments are quite often just plain toxic. I don't believe in censoring any point of view, no matter how stupid it is. In fact, exposing stupidity and dishonesty and hypocrisy is one of my main goals. So I'll do my best to engage with any comment, but some people, unfortunately, usually your conservatives and your MAGA chuds are incapable of processing information like normal adult human beings. So in this video, we're going to look at an example of this and examine some of the potential causes. So based on my Tucker Swanson Bitcoin tinfoil hat video, the one where Tucker claimed that the increase in the price of Bitcoin was due to U.S. government using it to pay ransoms to keep the FAA open from secret hackers or something. Obviously, this has continued going on for quite some time because the price of Bitcoin has stayed high, and I have not heard any further reporting on this story from any reputable media outlet. And I looked. But I did hear some definite journalism and reporting on the other side, and I'll link to that in the description. But of course, that doesn't stop those trolling the YouTube pages of individuals with, 100 subscribers like myself from spending their valuable, I guess, time flinging shit that makes really absolutely no sense. So this comment really is a good one. Tucker's a saint. You look like the bad kind of pothead. Doesn't get anything done. Complains about the only person at least trying to show reality. I do appreciate that he puts reality in quotes. Maybe do something for someone else besides yourself. If you had ever done anything useful, maybe you would have the perspective to see reality. Finally, I call him out and say that I think he's doing an awful lot of projection. Let's see what this page talking about psychological projection has to say on the subject. Right here at the top, it says that psychological projection is a mental process where we place our own internal feelings onto other people as a way to cope with these distressing feelings or insecurities. So when people project their feelings onto others, generally speaking, they do this so that they can avoid facing the difficult emotions and feelings themselves. Some examples of doing this are accusing somebody of baseless accusations, which are accusing somebody of something despite having no reason, often due to your own insecurities, and bullying. Children are often mean to other children because they have deep down feelings of insecurity themselves. To continue with bullying, bullying is a case in point of psychological projection. Broadly speaking, kids, and even some adults, bully others as a way to avoid dealing with their own feelings of inadequacy and insecurities. Bullies struggle with their own sense of themselves, and this causes a fear that their perceived inadequacies will be exposed to others. To divert the attention and also to avoid facing their own troubling feelings, bullies project negative emotions and attributes onto other people. Name-calling, making fun of others for being different from them, or jokes made at the expense of others are all forms of bullying that exhibit psychological projections. There are a number of other types of projection here. Another one that I think is going to be relevant is this intolerant attitudes. That said, if a person is projecting intolerant attitudes, for example, by being demeaning towards others because of their orientation, race, or gender, this is different from being a strictly prejudicial person. If you perceive yourself in a certain way, and then you come to discover something about yourself that clashes with that perception, this can cause dissonance and result in projecting onto others by being intolerant of them. Oftentimes, jealousy occurs as a result of psychological projection and a number of other tendencies. So, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but the fact of the matter is that war vets do suffer from mental illness at a much higher rate than the general population. If we look at this Lifeline for Vets page, we see a number of relevant statistics. Right here at the top, it says 20% of the vets who served in either Iraq or Afghanistan suffer from either major depression or post-traumatic stress disorder. Only 50% of returning vets who need veteran mental health treatment will receive these services. Reasons include personal embarrassment, shame, fear, stigma, lack of understanding. And then that leads to, veteran mental health and substance abuse, where 25% of returning Iraq and Afghanistan veterans show signs of substance abuse disorder. So they show that there is a link between traumatic brain injuries and PTSD. This explains it a little bit more. I will put the link in the description. All of these sources will be linked in the description. But the bottom line is that our veterans should not be used as political pawns in spending battles, and excessive wait times at local VA facilities need to be addressed and reduced through additional spending. Bottom line, got to take care of our vets. And supposing someone did experience a moderate or severe traumatic brain injury, what sort of symptoms might that include? According to the CDC, the potential effects of a moderate or severe traumatic brain injury include, in the category of thinking and learning, difficulty understanding and thinking clearly, and trouble communicating and learning skills. When it comes to emotion and mood, feeling more emotional than usual, having nervousness or anxiety, or feeling more angry or aggressive than usual. And then also trouble controlling behavior. All of these things are just part of the problem. And then there can be longer-term impacts that are significant. People with moderate to severe TBI typically face a variety of chronic health problems. Among those still alive 5 years after injury, 29% are not satisfied with life, which is really depressing. So let's look back at these sets of comments again behind this lens. Given that we now know the symptoms of traumatic brain injuries and their prevalence throughout a significant number of veterans, does one of these sets of comments strike you as more good faith than the other? I go point by point through why I disagree with this comment. The response I get includes something about being in my mom's basement. I need to go fight for my country. I'm hiding behind my computer since I'm not fighting for my country. And then, oh no, I think he's letting me know that he voted thumbs down. That's really sad. It breaks my heart. It occurred to me that in the military, there are a number of different types of jobs. And I have not been in the military, but I know people who have been. And I also just know this from simple facts. There are some jobs where they put you on the front lines and you are in front of bullets being fired. There are other jobs where they keep you behind a computer. And as a result of their training, they are considered valuable and need to be protected. So I'm not really sure how bragging about being more or less a human meat shield is really doing any favors for your case that the military sees you as important to their mission. Again, not trying to be offensive, just speaking honesty here. I do honestly know children with more intellectual maturity than to call people names. I know 10-year-olds that know better than that. But what does he do in response? Continue. You're the type that clinches onto their mom while I steal their dad. Get out of the way. What the fuck does that even mean? You're being duped. You don't even know how to investigate. Okay. Well, I mean, that's literally what I did in this video and in a number of other videos, but never mind. You got tricked by Maddow and Whoopi. Yeah, I've never once referred to Maddow or Whoopi. I don't think literally ever, except maybe to say that I think Maddow is a talented journalist, that it's a shame that she fucking sold herself out to MSNBC to be a shill for the Democratic Party. I think that her skills could be much better used elsewhere, but she didn't choose to take that path. She went down the corporate path, and now she's just another fucking corporate shill. And I have no respect for that, and so I don't give a shit what she has to say. Whoopi, I don't even know where you would get the idea that I would give a shit about anything she has to say. I mean, yeah, she's on like sort of a political show, but it's a barely political show, and it's definitely more of just for women to gossip about shit. So you're really stretching there, man. But it keeps going. Keeps going. Your from the basement psychological analysis is humorous. Just to have my job and to go to certain courses, you have to have a legit panel and a poly. Okay. That doesn't mean that you're not fucking dumb. So again, who are you? Well, you could find out for yourself. There's these things called search engines. I'm an internet native. I'm all over the place. What makes you any more significant than an 8th grade girl? I mean, depends on your definition of significant. It really depends on the context. I don't think I'm any more significant necessarily than an 8th grade girl. But again, totally depends on context. Not really sure what that has to do with anything. Nothing. It wasn't a question, Dr. Phil. Oh. That wasn't a question? The question that you asked? I mean, I guess it didn't end with a question mark, so I should have known better. Again, I picture you clutching your mom, pretending to be more childlike so we don't take you. You picture me clutching my mom. That's kind of a weird thing to say. I don't picture people like clutching to people. I don't really picture people doing other things much at all, because I'm not really that worried about other people. But then pretending to be more childlike so we don't take you. Is the implication that you would not kidnap a child, but you would kidnap somebody older than a child? I don't get it. Is that supposed to be a threat? Because it's fucking hilarious. Anyway, I go back and forth trying to make sense of this guy's shit. And finally, it ends up with asking you why you're relevant to be an arbiter of information makes me projecting. Yes, I just showed why. Answer the question, why should anyone believe you over an overqualified person, over an overquantified person? I agree, Tucker is overquantified. Who spent time in the space. All right, maybe he's not talking about Tucker. I'm not sure what space he's talking about. Maybe he's talking about himself, but we were never talking about the military. So this is a very confusing conversation. But this often happens with conservatives because if you'll notice, half of the party is using more or less proper English. The other half is using about a 4th grade level writing skill set. So it makes it a little bit difficult to interpret. But I don't know anything. I've never been trained. It's true. If I haven't been trained it, I don't know it. You are right about that. 10 generations of your family don't have 1 plank second of experience. Well, I don't know that my family goes back 10 generations. I mean, obviously, all families go back to a certain, but I'm pretty sure 10 generations, we get past the point of even being like remotely a family. 10 generations ago, I don't know. This is some of the dumbest shit I've ever read. 1 plank second of experience. You die on this hill just like all the rest. Prove me wrong here. I don't know what the fuck you want me to prove you wrong about. Honestly. Because I don't know what the fuck you're on about. But please, keep coming back. Just to wrap things up. I do want to say that while I'm not going to spend any time pumping up my ego, I have a Y at Unicorn Candy Rainbow. Fuck you. That's right. Unicorn Candy Rainbow. And if you don't like it, eat my dick. So y.at/Unicorn Candy Rainbow. And you've got my links to all my shit. And if you can't figure out who I am from there, you're a fucking moron. But there's also search engines where you can just type in my name, put the quotation marks around it, like you used when you were talking about reality, and then that'll find me too. So, no need for you to wonder who I am. I'm really curious who you are at this point. So, if you could demonstrate your skill set and go ahead and publish a video or a fucking blog post or a goddamn text file on a web page that explains anything, I'd be interested in looking at it. But before you attack someone on the internet, spend a couple fucking minutes researching who they are, because otherwise you make yourself look like a total asshat. Like you definitely just did.